I want to make sure y'all understand that. We used the same plat and nothing changed. Now we stopped. We stopped for 3 months. I didn't say we didn't release any new for Bill Clark Homes in 3 months. So that's a lot. And we're releasing them weekly now, and we're seeing incredible interest. We're selling out whatever we're allowing. If I'm releasing 10 lots, selling 10 in a day. Demand's there. And it's because, you know, there's not a lot of supply, and we have some good spots. We have good spots. We have, good communities. I'm blessed to have great people. And people like our people, the real estate community, I'm very fond of them, and they're very, very important to this town and this area. And we've been here a long time. If we didn't sell much, we would be horrible. We'd have to be horrible because of the fact we've been here so long. But the frequency of sales is all about this true supply and demand. And then I know you want to touch on the price. I mean, if you think about it, there's how many markets we have in this area. You got New Hanover County, and there's three different markets that we build in. I built that out of this office. We have the military market, we have the VA market, Sneads Ferry, Hampstead, and then up to Jacksonville, Onslow. Then you have Pender County, which is same market as New Hanover County. It was just supposed to be a little bit more affordable. It's not necessarily the case anymore. But it was like, if you're in New Hanover County, Pender County, it was a little less expensive, good schools, great value. And then the third market is more of your retirees. You could call it second homes or their primary home or retiring homes. That starts at Leland. Then it stops. Then it starts back to 11. Most of the time on 211. It kind of stops a little bit. Then you start at Sunset Beach, Ocean Isle Beach, Calabash, that area. That's majority retirees. So there's 3 markets, 3 different product lines, 3 different customers, 3 different markets, 3 different price points. And we've been doing it for a long time. And it's just because we've been doing it for a long time, we know what we're doing a little bit. And then, and when you have a supply issue of 1.1, and then in Pender County, there's a 0.6 months, 6 months, it's
wow,
6 months. And then 0.9 in Brunswick. You're going to do well selling, whether you do good at profit. That's another thing. And of course, we struggled with that because of the enormous shortage of resources. And then, of course, we all heard about the lumber market. I think it hit every headline ever. Yeah, that's true. It decimated our margins. I bet our costs went up $55,000 a house.
Wow.
And we've probably had, and you have to remember, a majority of our sales, and that happened in 3 months, 4 months. Our sales were back here. There's a lot of sales. I was talking about it. We sold a bunch of houses. So we had to chew through it. We're still chewing through it. And, but that's the struggle. I mean, in 2000, during the downturn, it was a very miserable time, and you were struggling money. I mean, most people were busted. You couldn't get a loan. We couldn't get, you walk into a bank, you almost had to wear a costume. Yeah, I'm a builder. Get out.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm telling you, get out, builder. You're high risk. Get out. Thank God we had long relationships with lending institutions, and they stuck with us. We're blessed. And now we're working harder than we've ever worked. And we're not making, and that's not a boo-hoo. I'm not crying. I'm just happy that everybody's, we're selling houses. People are getting houses. My staff is working. We're making not as much as we planned, but we're still making money. So but we're working our fannies off. And we're letting people down because we don't have the resources we are to provide for our customer. And my staff we're getting beat up. But you know what? If you're gonna work and you're gonna try to be the best that you can be, you're gonna have to get beat up, and you're gonna have to learn how to take it. There's people that are grateful. They are, but there are also some that want what they want, and they deserve what they want because they paid a bunch of money for it. Mm-hmm. And I'm not taking that away from them. And rest assured that and what they don't know is how hard we are really truly trying, and we are going to fail.
Yeah,
we're going to make it right.
A good friend of mine says that everybody who's been successful over the past 3 years, but they just started in the past 3 years, have no real understanding of what it's like to struggle during the 2000s, the 2008s, so forth and so on. So again, the fact that you've been weathering these storms for this amount of time, again, it's just a testament to being able to be resilient in times like this. And just like you said, especially as business owners, but for everybody here who's attending, who is an investor in real estate, who is whatever the case may be, you're going to have to take these bumps and bruises as we continue to kind of progress through these market cycles. And I think you touched on a lot of good things here, especially with the reason the supply and demand. It's just rules of economy, right?
It rules. That does rule.
Yeah, and it's true.
And it's money, and also the amount of what we touched on, price range. Mm-hmm. If you say, what's the price range? Well, we just released 2 new subdivisions this month, and we only limited the amount to release because we had VIP, and we made sure we held to it. We didn't say, just throw them in there and start writing more. No, we gave these people the privilege because they signed up at the right amount of time. So we honored that deal. We did honor it. It's easy to say, no, just put some more in there, write some more. But we didn't do that. I guess the price isn't right because I sold up too fast. So I can't tell you what the price range is. The only thing I can tell you is I'm scared to go too high because I'm committed to I have my own communities in Kelly's Cove, River Oak, all these. There's people that they're buying houses that were less. I don't want to go too high to the point where the people who are buying now are not going to have a good value to their house. Not saying that I'm feeling sorry. I'm not saying, I'm feeling sorry. I'm such a nice person. That's not what I'm saying. I'm saying is that I do care about the values in the community and the people who live there because I want them to sell their house. I want them to be able to make money on it. And I want their value to grow. I don't want it to be a problem for them. And nobody wants to remember, I got hosed on that house and, I lost my butt. No, I don't think that's going to happen. So the values, I don't know where the values are. And I could go higher. And I just don't want to go. I don't want to quite do that, but we have to be very careful on the values right now because affordability is why people move here. And we have really raised our prices in our legacy custom. People coming from out, they have a lot of money. Mm-hmm. Around here, it's a lot of money because we're like, oh, you got all, that's a lot of money. How do you have all that? We don't, we're, 2,000. An average market in town, and I go to history. I always tap into the history. A $50,000 lot, 219,000, 220,000. That ruled. That means your lots would have to be less. However, during the downturn, you would buy lots from banks for if you were working out you're like, I need to buy lots. What's my takedown schedule? Because I can't give you $2 million for the lots, but I can take 3, 4 a quarter and I'll pay $50,000 for them. Then you sell it for $250,000, $225,000, make a nice margin just to keep your operation and keep people employed. Nowadays, that's at $400,000. Now your price is at $400,000. And during a decent time, 400 grand in New Hanover County was not a viable price point. You had to be under 400. Now 400 is nothing. Mm-hmm. So this is strange to me, but I make adjustments fine. But I'm cautious. I'm very cautious. Land prices have gone from $35,000 an acre to, our 15 performance residential. Back then you could get to 25, 30 grand an acre, 80, 100. Mm. Now you're talking lot prices with development going up from 2008, it was 18,000 for a 50-foot wide right of way, low density development, to a high density development without any off-site significance. Just a turn lane we put in, 75,000. It went from 22 to 25 at the most. Now we're at 35 to 38, and you can't even get pipe. All right. So now you got the dynamic, because we're a developer. We develop most of it. We develop all of our stuff. If we buy the land, we buy most of our land. We do buy lots, and we do take customer builds. So we do it all. So I would say we're just as good as a developer we are as a builder, because we did developing back then as well. But that's the dynamic now. A $55,000 lot is laughable. If you buy land at $45,000 in New Hanover County, you get 2.5 units per acre, which is current, R15 performance residential. You put in a turn lane, maybe a pump station at $250,000. You're going to have $65,000 in the lot in cost. If you had that 10 years ago, you'd be in trouble and you would laugh at the deal. Right now, that people are doing it. That's what I'm telling you. So now that's the dynamic that we are today. And if you don't do it, you're not going to participate.
Yeah. And I think that's an extremely important thing for everybody to realize here is, the old saying is, don't wait and buy real estate. You buy real estate and wait. There's no way, like you mentioned, back in the year 2000, you could have expected the land prices to do this. And now that it is doing it in real time, there's no way that we can project what's going to happen in the next 5 years or the next 10 years, right? So we just have to be prepared for the market to shift and then be able to either adjust or not. Either we're going to be able to participate or we're not. So Debbie has a question. Before we get to our last question, I do kind of want to throw in here. So we didn't forget about you, Debbie. We got you. So it's a two-part question here for you, Heath. The first part says, will builders look at tracts of land that do not have utilities already on it? That's part one. And then the second part is, are you allowing buyers to still pick out their cabinets, their countertops, paint color fixtures, etc., or are those already selected and purchased by Bill Clark when you bring a client to purchase a Bill Clark home?
Good question. It's a long two questions.
Yeah, it is.
All right. The first, hey, y'all remind me if I don't answer the question, because I've gotten portions of it. The first one was utilities and land. And you're referring to, in Greenville, we don't have utilities. And I'm just referring to Greenville because of the soil types. Here in New Hanover County, specifically New Hanover, because what's left in New Hanover is it doesn't have utilities. And if it did, it would be fine. And in Brunswick County, it's so big, there's probably good pieces of land, good bad pieces of land. And in Pender, everything on the other side of 17 might be okay, but on the good side of 17, which I call the good side because it's on the water side, I might be in whatever. It's the more everything on the right side of 17 always seems to be better because it's on the water side. That's all. Since I've been here, everything's wet. If you can't put a septic system in, you can't build a house. If you don't have utilities, that's the other. So you have a septic system, an on-site system, whether it's got pre-treats or some post-treatment, if it's a $20,000 system. But this soil here, you can't put